Okay, so now today I'm teaching on plants and animal grade 8 work. So this work, it does not miss in an examination. So we are trying to provide solutions to everyone that is writing examination in July. And so these are things that you can try to follow up and try to revise and try to listen more and more and more and more and more. Your presenter, your tutor, Muhuri I. So first of all, we're going to look at a plant. Now, a word plant. What is a plant? What is a plant? What is a plant? So, the definition of a plant is anything that can grow out of the soil and can carry the process of photosynthesis. Anything that can grow out of the soil and can carry photosynthesis. So, anything that grows out of the soil and carries photosynthesis. Right. So what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis simply means the usage of carbon dioxide, sunlight absorbed by the leaves, the chlorophyll, plus, so I'm saying, light energy, chlorophyll, water, so carbon dioxide. So photosynthesis is the process by which light energy that is absorbed by chlorophyll, water, and carbon dioxide mixes together to make to make the food that is necessary or needed for a plant. Or in short, is the process by which plants manufacture glucose using these elements that I've explained here. So I'll explain this one later in detail. But all I want to do is that a plant, let's look at the structure of a plant. A structure of a plant. So just imagine this is my plant, and this is my plant, this is my plant, and I have, this is a plant. All right. So, my plant is made up of parts. My plant is made up of parts. And these parts are one, leaf. Then we have got the stem. I have got roots. Right. If I was to go into details, we have got branches, all that and that. But I am interested in the leaf because there is what I want to explain in the leaf. Okay, so leaves are made up of cells. Leaves are made up of cells, such as also human beings are made up of cells. So that will be my first lesson. I'll be talking about a cell. What is a cell? What is a cell? Okay, a cell. So what is it? What is it? Okay, a cell is a basic unit of a living thing. A cell is a basic unit of a living thing. Now, how do cells look like? Now, how does a structure of a cell? So I'll teach you two types of cell. That is an animal cell and a plant cell. So let's look at the first one, that is called a plant cell. So here is a plant cell. All right. All right. Here is a plant cell. Others they call it others they call it a parasite cell. So this is a plant cell. So a plant cell is made up of different parts. The first part of a plant cell is known as the cellulose. If you want, you can call it a cellulose, or you can call it cell wall. A cell wall. What is a cell wall? A cell wall is the outer part of a plant cell that is made up of cell wall, tiny fibrous structures. Tiny fibrous structures known as cellulose. Then I have the second structure that is called the cell membrane. The cell membrane. The cell membrane, this is a permeabic, or is a structure that contains the cytoplasm and the organelles that float on the cytoplasm. It is the structure that comes before the cell wall, or is the structure next to the cell membrane. So the cell wall, then the cell membrane. It's next, the cell membrane. So the cell membrane, this one, it is a structure that contains lipids. Then I've got the liquid here. Inside here, there's a liquid. And this liquid is known as liquid or fluid, is known as cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is a gel-like fluid where organelles float. Then I have the other one called the nucleus. The nucleus. The nucleus, this contains the DNA. DNA stands for deoxynucleic acid. Deoxynucleic acid. Then ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. So these are the terms that you need to understand when we talk about DNA, when we talk about DNA, when we talk about ATP, DNA, deoxynucleic acid, adenosine triphosphate. So these terms you need to understand them. Then the other part of a plant cell is known as the chloroplast. The chloroplast. So the chloroplast, these are found in green pigment or green areas of a plant. So a chloroplast, these are structures that absorbs light during the process of photosynthesis. Then I've got this one called the vacuole. Vacuole. It's called the vacuole. So the vacuole, it is the structure that is filled with fluid. And the fluid that is inside the vacuole is known as the salsa. The salsa. In other words, the vacuole stores salsa. Then we have the other structure that is haven't written there. Some cells, they will even add this one, the sausage-like structure known as the mitochondria. Mitochondrion. Right, mitochondrion. If there are many, we call them mitochondria. If there are many. So the singular is mitochondria. The plural is mitochondria. The singular mitochondrion. So now, these are the parts of a plant cell, simple one. And then we go to the other part that is called an animal cell. An animal cell, here is an animal cell, a structure of an animal cell. Right. Okay, a structure of an animal cell. So here is an animal cell. An animal cell, animals do not have cell wall. Animals do not have cell wall. So most of all animal cells don't have cell wall. All the cells that are contained in animals, they don't have cell wall. So here, this is an animal cell, and this one is called a plant cell. The whole structure is called a plant cell. This structure is called an animal cell. And an animal cell is made up of the cell membrane, then cytoplasm, then nucleus. So nucleus contains information about the cell, and it controls all activities of the cell. Then we have got the powerhouse, known as the mitochondria, that gives the energy to the cell. This is called the mitochondrion, because it's one. All right. So these are the parts of the cell. So you need to know that a cell protects the inner parts. At the same time, the cell wall prevents the damage of the cell. At the same time, the cell wall provides shape to the cell. The cell membrane allows some substances to enter and leave the cell. It is selective permeable. Then cytoplasm, this is a site where organelles float. At the same time, they are freshened up because of the fluid, and this fluid is a gel-like fluid. And then we have got the nucleus. The nucleus controls all cell activities. It also contains the information about the cell. It contains DNA, deoxynucleic acid, the chromosomes. Then we have the chloroplast. The chloroplast, these absorb sunlight during the process of photosynthesis. Oval-shaped like structure that absorbs sunlight during the process of photosynthesis. Then at the same time, the vacuole stores cell sap. There's a fluid there. And this vacuole is made up of a membrane. So, and this membrane is important because it gives also shape to the vacuole. At the same time, the vacuole stores cell sap. Then we have mitochondria. A mitochondria is a sausage-like structure that gives energy for the efficient work of the cell. So, what I've explained here, they are also contained. They are parts. This part, the cell membrane, as you can see, the cell membrane, and also there's a cell membrane. There's cytoplasm, and also there's cytoplasm. The nucleus, and also the nucleus. These parts are called protoplasm. The collective name for these three parts that are contained in an animal cell and a plant cell, these are collectively known as protoplasm. Protoplasm. So, our protoplasm is made up of cell membrane, cytoplasm, and the nucleus. So, I'll give you a question that came in the 2023, there was a question that came that was extended. So I'll write this question and, okay, because of time, what I'll do is, because I don't have time, these questions, I'll send them. So just to follow and learn from these parts. And then from there, I would want you to know all these things. Then the other thing that you have to know is that these two cells are different. Let's look at the shape. Shape difference. Right, shape difference. If you look at the shape, this one is irregular. A plant cell is irregular, while an animal cell is irregular. This one is what? Regular. Plant cell is regular, while an animal cell is irregular. Then let's go to structural. Organelle structure. The plant cell is made up of the cell wall or cellulose, while the animal cell is not made up of cellulose. Then the other thing is that the plant cell is made up of the chloroplast, while an animal cell does not have chloroplast. Another thing that you have to notice is that a plant cell is made up of vacuole, while a plant cell does not contain the vacuole. So these are the differences that you need to take note, because examiners will look at the structure, identify the parts of a plant cell or an animal cell, telling the difference between an animal cell and a plant cell, structure-wise and also organelle-wise. So those are the things that you are going to be given. Then the next thing that we are going to look at in the next topic, in the next lesson, is regions. Region of plant growth. Region of plant growth, and also nutrients that are needed for a plant to grow. Then the next we'll look at photosynthesis and transpiration. Thank you very much for your time. So otherwise, we encourage you to study hard and have a good day. Happy New Month.